I have discovered that all human evil comes from this, man's being unable to sit still in a room. The heart has its reasons of which reason knows nothing. The least movement is of importance to all nature. The entire ocean is affected by a pebble. All men's miseries derive from not being able to sit in a quiet room alone. Men never do evil so completely and cheerfully as when they do it from religious conviction. In faith there is enough light for those who want to believe and enough shadows to blind those who don't. Belief is a wise wager. Granted that faith cannot be proved, what harm will come to you if you gamble on its truth and it proves false? If you gain all, if you lose nothing. Wager, then, without hesitation, that he exists. Kind words do not cost much. Yet they accomplish much. Justice without force is powerless, force without justice is tyrannical. He that takes truth for his guide and duty for his end may safely trust to God's providence to lead him aright. Love has reasons which reason cannot understand. We sail within a vast sphere, ever drifting in uncertainty, driven from end to end. Human beings must be known to be loved, but divine beings must be loved to be known. Our nature consists in motion, complete rest is death. I have made this letter longer than usual, only because I have not had the time to make it shorter. Nature is an infinite sphere of which the center is everywhere and the circumference nowhere. Man's greatness lies in his power of thought. Nothing gives rest but the sincere search for truth. The eternal silence of these infinite spaces frightens me. You always admire what you really don't understand. Truth is so obscure in these times, and falsehood so established, that, unless we love the truth, we cannot know it. Imagination disposes of everything. It creates beauty, justice, and happiness, which are everything in this world. It is the heart which perceives God and not the reason. That is what faith is, God perceived by the heart, not by the reason. Small minds are concerned with the extraordinary, great minds with the ordinary. Noble deeds that are concealed are most esteemed. The last proceeding of reason is to recognize that there is an infinity of things which are beyond it. There is nothing so conformable to reason as this disavowal of reason. Man is but a reed, the most feeble thing in nature, but he is a thinking reed. Nothing is so intolerable to man as being fully at rest, without a passion, without business, without entertainment, without care. People are usually more convinced by reasons they discovered themselves than by those found by others. We run carelessly to the precipice after we have put something before us to prevent us seeing it. There are only two kinds of men, the righteous who think they are sinners and the sinners who think they are righteous. Habit is a second nature that destroys the first. But what is nature? Why is habit not natural? I am very much afraid that nature itself is only a first habit, just as habit is a second nature. Too much and too little wine. Give him none, he cannot find truth, give him too much, the same. Happiness is neither without us nor within us. It is in God, both without us and within us. The strength of a man's virtue should not be measured by his special exertions, but by his habitual acts. Since we cannot know all that there is to be known about anything, we ought to know a little about everything. All of our reasoning ends in surrender to feeling. Words differently arranged have a different meaning, and meanings differently arranged have different effects. One must know oneself. If this does not serve to discover truth, it at least serves as a rule of life, and there is nothing better. There are two kinds of people one can call reasonable. Those who serve God with all their heart because they know Him, and those who seek Him with all their heart because they do not know Him. Men are so necessarily mad, that not to be mad would amount to another form of madness. The charm of fame is so great that we like every object to which it is attached, even death. The last act is bloody, however pleasant all the rest of the play is. A little earth is thrown at last upon our head, and that is the end forever. Little things console us because little things afflict us. As men are not able to fight against death, misery, ignorance, they have taken it into their heads, in order to be happy, not to think of them at all. The supreme function of reason is to show man that some things are beyond reason. People are generally better persuaded by the reasons which they have themselves discovered than by those which have come into the mind of others. The greatness of man is great in that he knows himself to be wretched. A tree does not know itself to be wretched. The struggle alone pleases us, not the victory. We know the truth, not only by the reason, but also by the heart. Time heals griefs and quarrels, for we change and are no longer the same persons. Neither the offender nor the offended are any more themselves. If we examine our thoughts, we shall find them always occupied with the past and the future. Two things control men's nature, instinct and experience. Do you wish people to think well of you? Don't speak well of yourself. If all men knew what others say of them, there would not be 4 friends in the world. Justice and power must be brought together, so that whatever is just may be powerful and whatever is powerful may be just. Truly it is an evil to be full of faults, but it is a still greater evil to be full of them and to be unwilling to recognize them, since that is to add the further fault of a voluntary illusion. The finite is annihilated in the presence of the infinite and becomes a pure nothing. So our spirit before God, so our justice before divine justice. Contradiction is not a sign of falsity, nor the lack of contradiction a sign of truth. It is the fight alone that pleases us, not the victory.